Hello everyone, welcome for this update for the summary of the day of 12 May 2023. So I will try to be as quick as possible and explain what's happened previous days. So first of all, in the Kherson frontline, nothing much happened beside the usual shelling and things like this. And it's interesting to see that the Ukrainians are storing a lot of munitions and vehicles in cities that are just next to the front, like to the Russian territories. So you would think that perhaps they would store these a bit further back, like perhaps in places such as Mykolaiv, Odessa, Kryvyi Rog, things like this, you see. But I think it's very weird that they are just putting things just next to, yeah, literally in front of the Russians in Berislav, because as you can see in Berislav, you have those hangars here, and yeah, they were targeted by the Russians. And judging by the explosion, there was a lot of munitions here. Yeah, it's weird. It really perhaps shows that there's preparations or that the Ukrainians plan really to, yeah, to land on the other side of the Dnieper, on the Russian side, uh, which is interesting because still I don't understand why they put things literally in front of the Russians. I mean, even if they plan to, yeah, to make their army land on the other side in their counteroffensive, there is no reason to put everything like in the front of the Russians. Like it's really not smart. Um, to give an idea, they could have at least stored everything in Kryvyi Rog here, and few days before the offensive, they would be able to move things here. But yeah, I think it would, or perhaps they moved everything here a few days ago because they are going to launch an offensive. Really, yeah, in the next few days, we'll see. But I doubt that they have even enough boats or things like this to cross the Dnieper right now. I think that if they cross the Dnieper, it will be after the first offensive, like in Zaporizhzhia. Like they attack in Zaporizhzhia, and when they if they manage to break the Russian defenses and advance, perhaps like here, the Russians will have to retreat behind the Crimea because they have set a lot of fortifications, and which means that this territory will be emptied and they will be able to cross. But yeah, I don't know how they will manage to make anything cross the Dnieper if they really intend to attack directly at the beginning from Dnieper. So we have some geolocations here in Zaporizhzhia, in this western Zaporizhzhia frontline, I would say, or just a Zaporizhzhia frontline. You have, as you can see, two geolocations, and basically these last days there has been a lot of videos from the Russians that show them using missiles, drone, artillery everywhere, especially around Orekhov, few times around or at Gulaipole, and especially I find it weird. Perhaps the Russian army here is just like filming everything, but I find it weird that in Chervon there is almost yeah, there has been like 4 or 5 videos I've seen these last times. So I don't know what the Ukrainians are hiding in Chervone to be attacked this much, but it's very interesting. Um, really, I didn't expect anything from Chervone, especially that it's a very small town. But beside this, there is no advances. Yesterday, there's been a rumor of like Ukrainians launching a counteroffensive uh, and attacking in Zaporizhzhia and things like this, but it was no, it was false. Nothing happened here. Only in Bakhmut, yes, there is an offensive right now. So let's see this geolocation. So you see here there was like not the Russians, the Ukrainians being shelled by the Russians in this place. So it said here, it's in the Zaporizhzhia front line, but it was not hard to find the area. So yeah, as you can see, is this place, and it was on the 8th of May. And the second geolocation is, of course, Chervone. And yeah, just look at Chervone. As you can see, there is almost nothing, but it's true that there is a lot of hangars. Yeah, there is a lot of hangars here, and there is two things I could say. Both sides are very dumb because, first of all, hangars are not that like they're not that solid, they're not that strong, they're not armored. Few shelling destroy the entire hangar, which makes me say, why is there even still hangars that are in good shape? Because from the videos I've seen, the hangars are for most of the hangars they are not destroyed. So the Russians are not shelling every hangar when they could, because if you see the amount of shelling they are doing everywhere, you would think that they will target every hangars, even if there is nothing. Even if there is nothing, it will be good for them to just destroy every hangars to force the Ukrainians to have nowhere to put the weapons next to them. But they did not do this. And the second dumb thing is that why the Ukrainians still put their weapons just next to the Russians. Not very smart. Both sides are not very smart, honestly. But I guess perhaps there are things I don't know. And as you can see, there is a hangar here that is still up. And we are in May. So yeah, it's been a lot of months that passed without all of this being destroyed. So you have, as you can see here, you have a Chervone. It's said directly in the image that it was Chervone, so nothing hard to find either. I show you one last time. It's the tree lines here. And yeah, so beside this front line, what you have else is Ugledar. For Ugledar, it's interesting to see that there has been absolutely almost nothing, I would say. I wouldn't say absolutely nothing. I think the Ukrainians did launch assaults, but this part is mostly quiet. This front line is mostly quiet, but yeah, the rest of the front line here, it's where the Ukrainians are attacking because they found a weak point on the Russian defenses. And beside this, there's nothing much happening, and this geolocation is not really interesting nor important. It's just that from this view, like a Russian drone was filming Ugledar being bombed. It was taken from this part. Yeah, it was this view, as you can see. But beside this, nothing very interesting. And I believe that it's very weird, and you will understand why. Um, Coming on to South Donetsk area, you have the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense who is saying, no, multiple times, I think I saw it 3 times, that they say that Novomikhailovka here is being, there is fighting at Novomikhailovka when it's been a lot of time. Like this city has been a while. I did not see anything, and this really it looked like nothing was happening in this city. That everything was Marinka and Ugledar. But it seems like the Russians are perhaps like focusing on the Novomikhailivka area. I don't know why. But beside this, you have also a lot of fighting in Marinka. As usual, there is some footages, but it's mostly from the ground, not from the sky. And but beside this, there is not no advances to signal. in Nivelske, there is nothing happening, or at least I didn't see anything. In Avdiivka, I made a video yesterday reading of everything happening in Avdiivka, as you know, perhaps, if you didn't go watch it. And there is just this geolocation of the Ukrainians. So let me just put me on the right view here. The Ukrainians tried to launch an offensive that failed. It was, let me show, yeah, it was here, I think. Like this. Fuck. I want to see the fucking picture. I hate Google Earth. Yes. So you can see here the road here, this destroyed hangar, and everything. So the Ukrainians attacked, and they got every vehicle destroyed. And yeah, it was a failure. So it happened like here. So no map. No, there is map changes. Sorry, I was going to say no map changes, but actually, there is map changes, and some pretty big one. I think not that big, but interesting map changes. So yeah, the new front line is here, and the here I consider it being in fact under Ukrainian control. I don't know if the Russians were here before or not. Because if the Russians were here, then that means that the Ukrainians advanced. But I really don't have any geolocations from before showing that they were here, the Russians, at first. And if you look every other mappers, I don't think they mapped this area as being Russian. I think it's just, the front line did not change anywhere. So in Avdiivka, as you can see, there is a lot of changes. For the details, yeah, there is no geolocations, but it was a Rybar and other sources like I think Deep State UI, the Ukrainian source, and things like this that confirm that this area is like the Russians launched attacks and advanced in the Avdiivka front line. But nothing that interesting to say beside this. And you have Bakhmut, of course. I could make a fucking video about Bakhmut itself because there is so much things happening. So first, I will just start with this. As you can see, you have multiple changes. The Ukrainians launched an assault and took back all of these territories. A lot of people will say it's not that big, but it can be enough to make a whole front line collapse. I'm serious. And you have also in the south pretty big area that the Ukrainians managed to recapture. The Russians had to retreat on the other side of the canal. So let me just show you the difference between the last video. So yeah, you have this that that was taken back by the Ukrainians, and you have this that was taken back by the Ukrainians. I said, and you have also all of these territories that was taken back by the Ukrainians in this recent assault. But you have some advances in Bakhmut made by the Russians. So yeah, the Russians managed to advance in Bakhmut in the housing blocks in this area. And today, apparently, Yevgeny Prigozhin said that they managed to capture few others buildings, but I don't know which ones, so I did not change anything. Beside this, in Bakhmut, yeah. If you want my opinion about this, you should be careful about every numbers you hear, everything you're going to hear. Prigozhin is not a saint. He's not saying always the truth. Proof of that is when 2 days ago, when the Ukrainians launched their assault in this area, Prigozhin complained that the Russian army abandoned them, and he said that because of this, 500 Wagner soldiers died because of the Russian army abandoning them. But it's funny, not funny, but it's yes, it's funny, I will say even, because at the same time, the Ukrainians, so the Azov group and the Ukrainians, say that themselves in the video that they made, they posted the video of the assault. They said themselves that around, I think, 50 soldiers died, 50 Russian soldiers died. So, as you see, there is a huge difference between the Ukrainian numbers. So, the Ukrainians said that around 50 soldiers died, but Prigozhin says 500. So, yeah, it really seems like Prigozhin is trying to justify some things and also gain more popularity, or, yeah, tries to make look like things worse than they are. I agree that the front line in Bakhmut right now is totally fucked. I'm sorry, but it's totally fucked, and I really don't know what the fuck they're going to do right now. Um, I mean, the problem is that it's not even about weapons. The problem right now is about coordination. There is no coordination. The army, Wagner, anything like this are not coordinating each other's. There are yeah, no drones monitoring the front line, nothing. Like it's fucked up. And I really don't know if they will manage to fix their problems. And honestly, if they don't fix their problems, I would not find it weird to see the whole frontline here collapse. Because if you see, let's say the Ukrainians manage to cross the canal, which is very easy. It's not a big deal to cross the canal. They cross the canal, and as you can see, there is just few fields between this part and the other part. So if the Ukrainians just launch a single assault here and a single assault here, they will cut off everyone here or force everyone here to move back. So yeah, not a good position right now for the north. I don't know um, the state of the Russian forces here. I don't know if they have enough soldiers or weapons or things like this. But yeah, it doesn't look good. Honestly, it don't look good. Doesn't look good at all. And now we have new geolocation VMK, which leads to no map change. So you have this view. You see the patch of grass here, and the Ukrainians were shelled in this area. Yeah, there is nothing much to say beside that. And the actually successful part of the front line is in Bilohorovka, where the Kadyrov army forces, with the help of LPR, Lugansk People's Republic, and also with the yes, the Russian army too, managed to successfully capture the factory from the Ukrainians. So as you can see, you have some view from there, and yeah, the view is this one actually. So you have this, and the second picture in the building was just the Chechen forces in the building. Yeah. But beside this, there is nothing else to say. But here, I don't know if they will be able to hold it very long. I don't know how many forces the Ukrainians can afford to send here. Oh, yeah. Beside this, I don't know much. You have in Dibrova a geolocation of an Ukrainian tank being destroyed. So you have this view, and you see here the Ukrainian tank being destroyed. So yeah, is this view? And yeah, beside this, it doesn't. Oh yes, sorry. I was going to say that there is no map changes, but actually yes, there is. There is this map change. I consider that if the Ukrainian tank managed to be here, then it means that there is absolutely no Russians here to watch. Yeah, to hold positions. So yeah, remove this part from the Russian side. And beside this, you have, I think, one last geolocation. And this one is, if you remember the previous video I made, previous map update, I made 2 geolocation in this area, but there was a third one that I found on the internet. And it allowed me to correct the map a little bit. It's not much, but it's still a good thing to know. So perhaps, yeah. So yeah, if you have this tree line, this apparently it was the Ukrainians being here. So yeah, I changed the map, and you have this now. It's not really much, but it's still interesting. I prefer to have a better mapping than just leaving it like this. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will try to make a video soon, as soon as possible. I mean, if there is new updates. Because honestly, there's a lot of fucking things happening in the front line, but if you don't see me post a lot of videos, it's because even if there is a lot of things happening, political stuff and things, there is no much map changes. And there is not a lot of geolocations. And one last thing I want to say is that it's weird that there is not a lot of geolocations. Before, you used to have one video a day from the Bremenaya forests. You used to have a lot of videos from this part, Chervonovopovka. You used to have a lot of fucking videos from everywhere, and now you don't have these videos. So where are the Russian soldiers? I don't know. It seems like 2 weeks ago, suddenly 2 weeks ago, a lot of forces just moved out. So I'm asking myself, did the Russians soldiers move out a part of their forces to put them in Zaporizhzhia? Honestly, I don't know, and we shall see in the next update if I have some new information about that. So thanks for watching and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.